Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about YouTube Red, and I apologise if any of you guys have found that every single one of the YouTubers that you were subscribed to are also making a video about YouTube Red today, but I kind of want to talk through it with you guys and discuss some of the ramifications for it and talk a little bit more about, I guess, money in YouTube. There were a few of you guys that talked about me mentioning AdBlock in yesterday's video. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that as well, and I'm also going to be doing it on a mind testy video where I am actually constructing my Aqua Lounge, which is quite good. I'm actually building on from yesterday's little project. I was doing it while listening to a podcast actually, so it was actually quite fun to do. Anyway, let me know if you like or dislike the camera positioning and all that kind of stuff as well. But anyway, on to YouTube Red. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, YouTube Red is this new service that YouTube are bringing out where people can pay $9.99, which I assume is American, and in UK money that's about £6.50 per month to watch YouTube videos ad-free, along with a subscription to YouTube Music, a few YouTube exclusive video projects, I think it is, and there are some functions added to the mobile app. So I'm going to miss out some stuff, but I will put two links in the description of this video. One to a one-man podcast by Total Biscuit and another to a video by Hank Green, both of whom are pretty clued in on this kind of stuff. In fact, Hank Green, of course, runs VidCon, so he's really in the know about this kind of stuff. So they talk about it in more in-depth and with more sort of industry precision than I'm going to today. I'm just going to waffle through it in my, in the way that I do. So, well, what does this mean? First off, it's a good thing for creators. It's particularly a good thing for creators that do long-form content. So as you can imagine, I'm feeling pretty positive towards this. Now, I don't know how many people are actually going to buy it, and I'll talk about whether or not I may buy it later on. But there is a lot of speculation. In fact, the only real big criticism of this that I've seen is the price. It's $9.99. I am personally not interested in YouTube Music. I'm personally not interested in any of the other stuff. So, depending on how many people actually buy into this could be really good, because as you guys have probably heard from other YouTubers, is that ad revenue is kind of dwindling / gone stagnant, and that's not necessarily the case with this channel, but as you've probably guessed, I'm hardly raking it in. So as it currently stands, as I am recording this channel has just over 9,000 subscribers. I think it's about 9,250 subscribers, which, man, am I proud to say that. But in contrast with something like print media, right? My local newspaper, which is actually a real nice, grand publication, has a weekly readership of about 8,000. Yes, this channel gets a lot more than 8,000 views in a week. A lot more. Now, like I say, I'm not going to go too much into the analytics because they do change quite a lot, and the chances are that anyone watching this video sort of outside the week that I'm releasing it could, there could be entirely different information. So I'm going to kind of go on trends over the last couple of years. But yeah, this channel gets more hits than my local paper. My local paper hires an office of about 5 people. So more people are watching and viewing my blog, but it's not making anywhere near the money that my local paper is, even though it's getting fewer views, which I find very intriguing. On top of that, there is a newspaper that covers the entire of South Wales called the South Wales Argus. And according to Wikipedia, that has a daily readership of about 13,000 readers. That's really not that much. We've all heard the rumours that print media is dying, but this video blog is not getting those kind of numbers just yet, but this time next year I wouldn't be surprised if it does surpass that. And yet, this ain't exactly raking in the money for me, and I don't mind. I mean, I do. This is a passion of, this is a labour of love. And to be honest, I don't really feel great about earning too much money about this anyway, when there are, open source projects that really, could use the money as well. That's one of the reasons why I kind of get a little bit cautious when it comes to money, I guess, and earning money from this channel, because I always have to ask myself, well, is this taking money away from other open source projects? That and I would rather that money went to other open source projects than it went to me. But on the flip side of that, have really decided to use this channel as a signal boost to a lot of other open source projects that I think are worthwhile. And I think that there has been a reasonable degree of success here. I mean, it obviously depends how you measure success, but there are videos that I've made last year where I talk about how to, for example, watch Twitch live streams on VLC Media Player, and recommending the use of open broadcast software on Linux and all this kind of stuff. And yes, I'm perfectly aware that this sounds like I'm massaging my own ego pretty vigorously at that point. I am perfectly well aware that the success or failure of any kind of open source project is not going to pivot on this channel. But that being said, it is the principle that's important, and I certainly don't want to take away from the open source community, because that would just be completely against the values and the reasons that I make these videos. Anyway, back on point. YouTube channels do not make very much money. They make embarrassingly little amounts of money, interestingly enough. If this was in print publication, if this, was like a Linux magazine or something, I would be able to hire staff. I would be in a very, very well-off position. But unfortunately, views on the internet are considered less valuable than views in real life, and maybe culture will change that, or whatever. But, we live in the situation that we do. We have to play the cards that we're dealt. So the revenue split between YouTube and content creators is pretty much the same as the ad revenue model. There is an extra cost on top of this. YouTube are paying, or Google rather, are paying a company to process all of the, the payments and the memberships and all this kind of stuff. And we are yet to know what the cost of that will impact on the rest of us. But that being said, if this sort of third-party cost is surprisingly expensive, it's not only the content creators that are going to lose out, it's also Google, and I kind of feel that Google know a little bit better than to screw themselves over. So, will I be subscribing to YouTube Red? Well, I'm kind of on the fence about it, but I probably will. Lord knows I watch enough YouTube. I'm not particularly interested in the YouTube exclusive content. I don't have a smartphone, so I'm not going to be making use of the YouTube mobile extras, and I'm not particularly interested in Google Play, again, because that seems to be focused around the mobile market as well. So I do kind of feel a little bit sour that I might end up spending probably about half of that $9.99 on something that I'd never ever use, and only to support the content creators that I watch. So generally, I am actually feeling very, very optimistic in regards to YouTube Red, especially considering that the revenue is decided on minutes watched, and considering that I do a decent amount of long form content, I gotta say that actually comes across pretty favourable to me. Also, I did find out today that if you do significantly more regular content, that drives additional traffic to your channel because of how YouTube's algorithms work. I've suspected it for quite some time, especially considering that I used to do daily videos, and now that I do sort of like what appear to be weekly videos, if even that. And I really kind of want to get back on the daily video train, especially considering I enjoyed it so much last time. Okay, so here I am with AdBlock Plus. I'm going to share some thoughts on it. I mentioned it in yesterday's video, and you guys had some things to say about it. Very thoughtful, and thank you for sharing your insights. And I'm just going to basically explain where I am with it, because it is a pretty controversial topic when it comes to YouTube content creators. I mean, it is the thing that directly affects our bottom line. So, I do not begrudge anyone for using AdBlock Plus. The internet is, fraught with ads, and those ads in a lot of cases are dangerous. Now, as a bit of a techie guy, I'm very regularly asked to rid someone's PC of viruses. It's a pretty regular occurrence, to be honest, and it's almost always a Windows. In fact, it's always been a Windows user that's asked me, but and there is a very common way in which viruses actually get onto their computer. It's usually in the form of an ad. A lot of the time, an ad disguising itself as a legitimate part of the website that it's been embedded in. And this is a real problem. I'm sure you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. And in a lot of cases, I will install AdBlock Plus on their PCs. And it's the best antivirus piece of software I have ever seen. And that has to count for something. So, where does that leave us? Well, in yesterday's video, I thanked everyone who decides to deactivate their AdBlock Plus extension or not use AdBlock when watching my videos, and I do appreciate that because it does mean that it gives me a little bit more time to make videos and a little bit of money to invest in the camera equipment, and it doesn't make it so much of an imposition to go out and make content. I'm not going to necessarily begrudge anyone for using AdBlock Plus, but I always think that it's worthwhile to perhaps whitelist sites that you like to support, or of course there's the old Patreon option, but of course so many content creators which I feel deserve some degree of support just aren't going to be on it. And like I say, being subscribed to 300 plus YouTube channels, I ain't going to be able to patronize all of them. So that's about it from me today. If you have any ideas for what you'd like to see as a visual accompaniment to maybe the next video, let me know again, of course, down in the comments section below. And until next time, I've been Chris Ware, and you've been awesome. Take care now.